can do it. Okay. Count.
1, 2, 3.
Wait, do it again.
1, 2, 3.
Injecting. Done.
Done?
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay! Oh yeah, the blood happened last time. Oh my gosh. Yeah! Oh.
Ta-da! Ta-da!
Alright, so Quinn is down for his afternoon nap. So I'm going to quickly give you guys a update on how our frozen embryo transfer prep has been going, how I've been feeling, especially related to the medications. So you guys just saw that I gave myself the first progesterone oil injection, and last night I gave myself the second one. So tonight will be day 3. So by the time you're watching this, I probably would have already given myself like a week's worth of progesterone and oil injections. So we are officially on track for our frozen embryo transfer day this Friday, which is July 26th. So I'm filming this on Tuesday, so I don't know the time of our FET yet, but I will find out the time on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. And so by the time you guys are watching this video, I probably would have already had my transfer. I also want to give you guys a brief explanation as to why I'm on so many medications for our frozen embryo transfer. I am on what's called a fully medicated frozen embryo transfer, so I'll go into that a little bit later, just for you viewers who are just now starting IVF and don't know anything about transfers, frozen embryo transfers. I've never been a candidate for a fresh embryo transfer. I did my first frozen embryo transfer 2 years ago, and that's how I got my little 16-monther now. Actually, he's a very big boy. So I am on the exact same regimen, the exact same medications this time as I was last time. And before I further get into this video, I do want to welcome those of you who are brand new to my channel. I upload 1 video a month. It used to be 1 video a week. I really hope to get back to that, but I really don't see myself getting back to that anytime soon. My goal is to, but with Quinn being a toddler now, and then hopefully this transfer works, and if I do have a second one, oh my goodness gracious, it might be a struggle even to upload 1 video a month. I hope not, because I love you guys on YouTube. I love making videos, I love editing. But anyways, as of right now, it's 1 video a month, all about fertility health, and of course IVF informational videos. And I just love to share my infertility journey, my IVF journey with you guys, in hopes that it will help you out. Those of you who are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching, and sit back and enjoy. Hopefully this is helpful to you. All right guys, so how am I feeling after 2 nights of progesterone and oil injections? So I'm definitely sore, but I'm definitely not as sore as I was 2 years ago when I first started doing them. And I think it's because I have picked up a lot of tips and tricks on how to not have as much pain with them. And I did do a whole video on it, which I'll link in the description box down below for those of you guys who are new to doing the progesterone oil injections, or you know they're in your immediate future and you want to know how to do them maybe a little bit better, or maybe you have a friend or something who has to do them, and maybe send this video her way, because these shots, you guys, are horrific. Honestly, these progesterone oil injections are way worse in my opinion than the stim injections, because these are going in the muscle, and it's a very thick medication in oil. And because the oil is so thick, when you inject it into the muscle, like at least for me, I feel it going into the muscle, and it's literally like you're getting a flu vaccine or COVID shot. And you know how you get super sore either immediately or the next day? That's how it feels in your butt. But yeah, go check out that video. I'll link down below if you want to know how I do I'm gonna call them PIO injections, either PIO or PIO, how I do the PIO injections, and kind of my strategy on how to have less pain with them. So very happy to report that I am not as sore as I was 2 years ago when I first started doing them. And I think really the key is right after I inject the medication, I massage right away. And those of you who follow on Instagram probably saw my Instagram story on me doing it and telling you guys that like I am massaging the heck out of my butt muscle right after I do the injection and applying heat. Because I take my shower, normally I take my shower after Quinn goes to bed, and this is the other thing, you guys, this time around I have a toddler. The first time I didn't have any kids, so I like had time to prepare and like set up the heating pad and blah, blah, blah. There's no time for any of that now. So I have just sort of like strategized in my head how I'm gonna do this injection efficiently, effectively, but like still with low stress with a toddler. So my fertility clinic said I need to give my injection between 7 and 9 p.m. at night. So Quinn normally goes to bed at 8 p.m. So the last 2 nights I've been putting him to bed by 8, and then right away I've been setting up myself for the injection. And then right after I do the injection, I jump into a hot shower. So instead of putting a heating pad on my butt and massaging, I've been just jumping in a really hot shower and massaging myself in the shower because I have to take a shower anyways. And so I just sort of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because efficiency is key when you already have a kid and you're doing this. So that's kind of how I've been managing doing it with a toddler. Again, I'm not going to go into like my tips and tricks on how to give myself the PO injection, have less pain, because I went over so many things that I've learned to do in the video that I'm linking down below for you guys. So if you want to know my tips and tricks, go ahead and check that video out. But heat and massage right after is just been key for me. And then of course I heat up the progesterone and oil medication under my armpit to get it to my body temperature, because it's in oil, and so the oil is so thick at room temperature it thins it out a little bit at my body temperature, so that when I inject the medication it goes in the muscle way easier. Yeah, in terms of soreness, I am definitely sore, but it's manageable. The last time I was so sore I could barely walk, and so I'm not at that point, not even close to that point, but I can tell that I did give myself injections in the butt. So of course the other medication I've been taking are these estrogen pills and a baby aspirin. I have to take a baby aspirin every day because I had preeclampsia with my first pregnancy, and so they're hoping by me taking the aspirin every day that will prevent preeclampsia from setting in if I do get pregnant. So I take both of these every day. This is just once a day in the morning. The estrogen pills are 3 times a day. So I do have 3 separate alarms on my phone to remind me to take them, because they're 8 hours apart. So every 8 hours I take a pill. So normally it's around 6 a.m., 2 p.m., and 10 p.m. And so for me, it's kind of a lot to remember when I'm working, I have a toddler, I have all these things going on. They're very, very tiny. If you can see them through. Very tiny blue pills. The estrogen pills I have been on now for almost 3 weeks, and that was the same thing as I did 2 years ago. Those estrogen pills I have to take for like 2.5 weeks, and then I went in for my ultrasound this past Saturday, the uterine ultrasound, to check my lining, because the goal in taking the estrogen pills is to increase uterine lining enough for pregnancy. And so when I went in on Saturday for the uterine ultrasound, my lining was around, it was almost 9, or maybe it was 9, I think it was 8.99, and I am now good to go to start the progesterone and oil injections. Of course I started those, and then my transfer is confirmed for July 26th. Like I said, I don't know the timing yet. I'll know by tomorrow, Wednesday the 24th, what time my transfer will be. The thing with these estrogen pills, and I don't know if it's because I've had a baby already, but I have been feeling like a full feeling in my uterus, and I did not feel that last time. And I have heard that after you have a baby, everything's kind of more sensitive down there, including I've heard people say when their menstrual period starts again postpartum, it's like really bad and like way more painful than before, initially at least. I never got my period back because I've really just never had periods before, and that's why I have to do IVF. So it's not surprising I didn't get one. And there's sort of like a backstory behind, they were trying to get me to have one on my own. They put me on oral progesterone for 10 days to see if I would have one, and it just didn't work. So here we are again. So about a week into taking these, I literally could feel my lining building up, because I got that full feeling. Same feeling as I felt during the stim medications, like towards the end of the stim medications where like your ovaries get really big and you're about to ovulate. I felt my ovaries. It's kind of like the same full feeling that I felt during that time when my ovaries got really big, but this time it's my uterus. And at first it kind of threw me off, and I was like, what is wrong with me? Is something wrong? But it didn't hurt. I just felt kind of heavy in my lower abdomen. But now I don't feel anything. So I think it was just the initial like maybe lining building up or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but I don't feel that fullness anymore. So the other medication that I started along with the PIO shots is the vaginal progesterone. I have to take that twice a day. Now that is like a no-brainer. That's super easy. It's just a suppository in my vagina that I shoot up there. But what's annoying about that is it leaks out of me throughout the day, because it's a white pill that you shoot up there. The medication absorbs through your vaginal wall, but a lot of it just kind of comes back out you. And so I have to wear panty liners now all the time, which I had to do last time. Otherwise the like melted white pill will get on your underwear and on your clothes, and it's It's just so annoying. The vaginal progesterone is more annoying than anything else, having to wear panty liners and having like white stuff leak out of you all day. It's very annoying. So all these medications I have to take through the first trimester of pregnancy if the transfer works. I think the estrogen pills I can stop at week 10, along with the vaginal progesterone I can stop at week 10, but the shots I have to take through 12 weeks. I think once I turn 12 weeks in pregnancy, I can stop those. I can stop everything. But until then, this journey has just begun. So then the last update is my blood pressure. So it's been under control at home in the 120s. I think I mentioned that in my last YouTube video. I've been taking my blood pressure twice a day at home, and it's always good at home, 120s. And as soon as I walk into my clinic, it's like 150s, even 160, because I get so anxious when I go to my clinic. So it's been okay at my clinic. The last blood pressure reading at the clinic was my suppression check a few weeks ago before I started the estrogen pills. And initially it was high, and they just had me like sit there for a few minutes and just breathe and calm down. And they had me do my vital signs after my suppression check ultrasound, so I would be a little bit less nervous because the ultrasound went fine. So I sat there for a little bit just to calm myself down, and it ended up being like 137/78, which was acceptable to them, still high for me. And then of course I went home and checked it, it's back in the 120s. But I have noticed that since starting the baby aspirin, my blood pressure is even better at home. I'm not sure what it is. They haven't checked it recently at the clinic, but it's like low 120s instead of high 120s. And I don't know if that's the aspirin or not, or just me kind of calming down, because now we're officially starting the process. Everything looks good. Like I have a transfer date set. Maybe just overall I'm calmer now. I think the aspirin is actually helping my blood pressure, which is good. The other thing I know that's helping is therapy. So I am in something called somatic therapy. I found a therapist through my sister who uses this therapist, and she does what's called somatic therapy. Just Google it and it'll tell you all about what somatic therapy is. But basically it's a therapy that's not really talk therapy. It's a little bit of talk therapy, but it utilizes the mind, body, and spirit as one, and it recognizes the mind, body, and spirit as one. So just talk therapy is just the mind. That's only one piece of the whole picture. And it's what I really needed, because I think my blood pressure and my anxiety level, my heart rate, everything's so high because my body is responding to past trauma. And so how do I get my body to calm down and tell my body that everything's okay, that I'm not in danger, that I'm okay, Quinn is okay, everything's okay now? I couldn't get my mind to connect to my body in that way, if that makes sense. Like my reasonable mind knows that I'm okay. Like this was the past, like my traumatic labor and delivery, it's in the past, like I'm okay, I'm not in danger. My mind knows that, but my body for some reason does not. So how do I tell it? How do I convince it that I'm okay, I'm not in danger, I'm not in fight or flight mode? Like when I walk into my clinic, how do I convince my body to be relaxed and like tell my body that everything is okay, that I'm not in danger, I'm not running from a lion, like the past trauma is in the past, I'm okay now. And so it's really working on mind, body, spirit connection. And so I might do a separate video on this. Let me know if you want me to, because I am learning a lot from my therapist, and it's just through Zoom, but it's a lot of imagery. It's a lot of literally like talking to my body, talking to my heart, like saying everything is okay. Am I in danger? And literally like reorienting myself, like, no, I'm okay. And it's crazy what the body can respond to when it's given the proper tools from the mind. But I didn't know how to do that. I've never really lived in what's called neutral. She keeps telling me, Brittany, we need to get you back to neutral. We need to get you neutral, meaning living life in a calm state. And yes, like stressors come and we have to respond to that, and your adrenaline will go up to fight that stressor. But then when the stressor is over, how do I come back down to neutral? And so it's kind of a pendulum. And so eventually, once I learn all these skills and I practice and stuff, I will be living more in neutral, and the pendulum won't swing as much when I go into stress mode, if that makes sense. Anyways, very interesting form of therapy. I think it is life-changing. My sister swears by it. So I am doing that. I've had like 4 or 5 sessions so far, and I've noticed a difference walking into my clinic. I'm able to kind of keep myself not calm. I'm definitely not calm, but I'm not having panic attacks anymore, if that makes sense. So I think that it's been helping too with my blood pressure. In other words, he is stirring a little bit, so maybe I'll try to like keep my voice down. I'm in the kitchen. His bedroom is just like 10 feet that way, and he hears everything. So that is pretty much the update in a nutshell, all the important stuff. I do want to kind of go into a little information on what I have been finding out just through my own research of why I have to have a fully medicated frozen embryo transfer. I know that some women, I think actually a lot of women who have regular menstrual periods and know that they ovulate regularly every month don't have to have a fully medicated frozen embryo transfer. They don't have to take the PO injections. They don't have to take the estrogen pills. And maybe like some women have to take a little bit. Some women don't have to take anything at all, depending on how regular you are and maybe like why you're doing IVF in the first place. But for me, because I don't have regular menstrual periods, and really I don't have them at all, we know I don't have regular menstrual periods, and so therefore we don't know when I ovulate, if I ovulate at all. So we need to fully mimic a cycle. And so when I got put on the birth control pill, that's so that they can time these medications that I've started. And so when they were ready, they told me to stop the birth control pill, and I went in for my suppression check to see where I was with my uterine lining, making sure it was nice and thin, and they drew my blood to make sure my hormone levels were low, because they wanted to start me off at baseline, like everything's super low, so that they know what dose to put me on with the estrogen pills. So I started the estrogen pills a few weeks ago, and the estrogen pills mimic our bodies making its own estrogen to increase uterine lining for when you ovulate. And so that's why I've been on these for a couple weeks now, and that's why I went in for my uterine ultrasound to see what the lining is, because these have been doing their job in increasing uterine lining, mimicking what our bodies naturally do. And so because my lining is thick and my estrogen level is high, now I get to start progesterone, and that's what our bodies normally do, is increase progesterone at the second half of the month, second half of our cycle. And so because my uterine lining is good, my estrogen level is high, now I start progesterone, which I've started now for 2 days. And so we want progesterone to be in my body before the transfer happens, so that the embryo can implant successfully and grow successfully. So in a natural cycle, when we ovulate, the ovary releases the egg. When the ovary releases the egg, it leaves behind what's called the corpus luteum, which is a mass of cells that secrete progesterone. And so because I don't ovulate, I have to give myself the progesterone artificially, because I don't have a corpus luteum. So if that egg is fertilized and implants in the uterus, the body recognizes that, and that corpus luteum keeps secreting progesterone. And so that is why I have to keep giving myself progesterone. So if the egg is fertilized and implants into the uterus, then that corpus luteum stays there and it keeps secreting progesterone for the growing embryo. And so after the transfer, that's why I have to still keep giving myself progesterone and oil and the vaginal progesterone. Now I don't know why it's 2 different progesterone. I'm actually not sure. Maybe one of you can comment and tell me why I would need vaginal progesterone and the shot, but it is 2 different areas of absorption. Maybe that's why. So normally when an embryo is growing and developing into a fetus, the first trimester, the corpus luteum keeps secreting progesterone, and that's why I have to keep giving myself progesterone the first trimester. And also the estrogen too, because we want to keep that uterine lining high. And so then after week 12, we have a placenta, and the placenta then takes over the job of the corpus luteum, secreting the hormones needed to support baby, and so then the corpus luteum just dissolves. And so that's why after week 12, I can stop all the medications. All right, so that's about it. There's the update for you guys. There's some information for those of you who didn't know that. Comment down below on if you've had a frozen embryo transfer before, or if you're preparing like me for one, or if you know you're gonna have one in the future. Also comment if you've had something different, like if you've had a fresh transfer. I know nothing about a fresh transfer. Also, if you want to comment like if you didn't have to have a fully medicated frozen embryo transfer, or if you're looking at like a partially medicated, comment, because I'm learning about all this. I only know what I have to go through, but I do know people who have gone through frozen embryo transfers and did not have to do the PO shots and did not have to do the estrogen pills. So I find it all very fascinating. So I'll keep you guys in the loop as to how my transfer goes. I am planning on documenting it. Last time they didn't allow video in the room that we did the transfer in, but they did allow pictures. So definitely planning on at least taking pictures like last time, and then I will update you guys on how that went. So that will be the next video, is how our frozen embryo transfer went, my thoughts and feelings about it. I am gonna do acupuncture right after the transfer, just like last time. So hopefully that goes well like last time. As always, thank you for all your love, support, encouragement as this day quickly approaches. It is absolutely wild that it's almost here. I knew this would come up fast. Like once we started preparing for it, it would come up really fast. And I can't believe Quinn is gonna be almost 17 months and now we're doing another transfer. Like, wow, it is absolutely mind-boggling. And it's a lot mentally to go through this again. Like I was saying in my previous video, that this time around is much tougher than the first time around in terms of mental health. I think it's only because I want it so bad. Like with Quinn, like the first embryo transfer, I was like, we'll see if it works. I'm okay without kids though. I mean, like I want kids, but you know, I like my life how it is. But now that I have had Quinn, it is the most wonderful thing you've ever experienced being a mom. The hardest thing you'll ever experience, but also the most wonderful, that I want to give Quinn a sibling so badly that I'm just really struggling mentally. Like, what if it doesn't work? Like it might not work. And then the other thing is like, I'm still dealing with my past trauma from labor and delivery, and it was really hard postpartum in the beginning. I keep having like flashbacks from the trauma of preeclampsia and the really horrible labor and delivery. And so like, do I want to go through that again? Like, is it going to happen again? And so it's just like one day at a time, one step at a time. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Like last time, just trusting the process, trusting my body, having faith that everything will work out how it's supposed to, even if it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work for a reason kind of mentality. And so yeah, for now, one injection at a time, one day at a time. We'll just see what happens. Those of you in the same boat as me, baby dust to you, all the love, encouragement, the good positive vibes. And if you're like me, just treating this one day at a time. If I think about too much of it in the future, it's too overwhelming. My little Quinny boy is a wonderful distraction though. He's a lot right now, you guys. Toddlerhood is a whole new level. And the tantrums and the screaming. I mean, he's a good boy. He's a busy boy. He's a lot of fun, but holy moly, you guys. I always say, good thing they're cute, because oh my gosh. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, because it does really help support my channel. I will see you in the next one. And of course, always remember to be kind to yourself.